Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are finally going to be looking at Awesomeness TV as a whole, and essentially we're going to be exploring the world of Awesomeness TV. Of course, before we start today's video, we have to do this week's buddy shoutout, and this week it goes to Pre the Vaz, who sent this tweet. Thinking about when I was 12 and I posted so many houses, never had a home on my Facebook, and my mom printed it out to use in a custody battle with my dad. If you want to get a sweaty shoutout for yourself, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, and then DM your favorite meme of the week on Instagram, and you might get chosen. Some of you guys likely know what Awesomeness TV is, but for those of you who haven't come across it before, they're a media company that started back in 2012 that has a pretty sizable YouTube channel of over 7.8 million subscribers. They gained a lot of traction in earlier years during the first phase of YouTubers moving to LA to start acting, where most YouTubers ended up acting in Awesomeness TV productions, which range from TV shows to movies that were all hosted on their YouTube channel or other streaming networks. Personally, I've never really found their content to be the best, which is why it's still pretty surprising to me that 8 years later they're still doing well for themselves, but it's also why it isn't surprising that another variation of Awesomeness TV popped up in 2017 named Brat, which follows the same kind of format of casting social media stars in movies and shows to get an audience. We've reacted to a few Brat productions before, such as the Chicken Girls movie and Brobot series, but I thought it could make for an interesting video if we looked at Awesomeness TV and the shows and movies they produce and try to figure out how, and more importantly why, this company is so popular, regardless of their content being so terrible. Before we get into the video, I did want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Function of Beauty. What I love about Function of Beauty is that they look at hair care similar to the way that most people look at skincare, where it's not one size fits all, so they offer 100% customizable shampoo and conditioner for your unique hair. The process is super easy. You just fill out a 2-minute quiz outlining your hair type, hair goals, and personalized preferences, and choose your color and fragrance. And what's great is Function of Beauty has no parabens, sulfates, GMOs, or toxins, and they're 100% vegan and cruelty-free. What I love about Function of Beauty is not only the personalized formula, but I also love the personalized packaging, and also the bottles and colors are really cute too. Color-wise, I ended up going with purple for both the shampoo and conditioner, and the scent that I chose was eucalyptus and mint, which smells so good. And formula-wise, I ended up customizing something that would not weigh my hair down, but would also help my hair grow and keep it healthy. After using both the shampoo and conditioner over the past few weeks, I've noticed that my hair feels a lot healthier, shinier, and not as weighed down. They also have products beyond shampoo and conditioner, such as the leave-in treatment, hair mask, or hair serum, which are all 100% customized and can be added to any order. I got the hair mask, and I've been really enjoying using this on days where I feel like my hair just needs a bit more moisture and a bit of a reset. Function of Beauty was actually kind enough to provide a link for you guys to use to get 20% off your first order, which will be provided in the description box below. Thanks again to Function of Beauty for sponsoring, and now let's start today's video. I do want to mention that one thing that confuses me these days about Awesomeness TV's channel is that it's quite frankly a mess. We'll get into my personal idea as to why that might be later in the video, but if you look at their channel videos, you can just see there's a whole lot of shit going on there. While I've come across Awesomeness TV in past years, one of the most recent encounters I've had with their content is through their Dream Date with Chloe Couture series I have on my channel, where we watch the episodes together. I'll note here for anyone who is wondering, the third part of that series will be going up soon, I promise, but while I definitely find the series entertaining, it's in more of a how is this actually a thing way versus this is good writing and engaging content way. If you haven't seen my series on the show yet, the idea behind Dream Date with Chloe Couture is that a YouTuber named Chloe Couture, who has over 6 million followers, is the bachelorette in a series of videos where she kicks a guy off the show each episode until she finds the guy she'll have her dream date with. Some people have mentioned that the style of the show feels similar to 17's Bestie Picks Bae series, but Awesomeness TV actually published Chloe's series well before, so I think the series was meant more as a bootleg Bachelor more than anything. I definitely have a lot of issues with the show, to say the least, but I do cover a lot of that in my actual series on it, so I'll try to keep it brief here. It's so awkward to watch. I think it's a mix between bad acting, how some people on the show clearly aren't 100% comfortable in front of a camera, and how the people who edit this series don't really seem to care about editing the episodes in a way that makes it less awkward to watch, that can make some of these episodes borderline painful to get through. I also think, and this is pure speculation on my part, that they tried to shoot this series in a few days, which would make the awkward dynamic between everyone make a lot more sense because they've all just met each other yet are supposed to act like they've been battling for a dream date with Chloe for weeks on end. It could not be the case, but I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt that that's the reason we got scenes like this.
Good?
Oh! Woohoo! Yeah! Even though in my opinion the series was not that good, a Brent Rivera version of it actually popped up shortly after where it was the exact same concept except instead of Chloe being the bachelorette, it was Brent being the bachelor. I have to be honest, I actually tried to do a series for this version of it as well, but the first episode alone was so painfully awkward to watch that I couldn't even get through the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Whew. Brent, you know I spent too much time watching you on YouTube. Can't believe I'm meeting you.
So what do you have there?
Well, I wanted to show you that I'm a queen with no drama.
Now, while Chloe and Brent's Dream Date series wasn't a ripoff of Bessie Picks Bae, that doesn't mean Awesomeness TV's new series Date Takeover isn't, because it totally is. This series basically follows the exact same format of Bessie Picks Bae by 17, except the difference is that the person who is getting a date chosen for them is actually facing the contestants the entire time, which makes the series once again incredibly awkward to watch. This one stars a range of different social media stars, such as Brent Rivera and his sister in I Let My Sister Pick My Girlfriend, as well as Tila Dunn and her mom in I Let My Mom Pick My Boyfriend. And listen, I get that they're trying to do something semi-different by having the person face the contestants, but I honestly wish they had just committed to carbon copying the concept and turning them around, because it just makes the episodes so painful to sit through, because you can tell the contestants and the person themselves just look so uncomfortable the entire time.
I'm Mary, and roses are red, violets are blue, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Okay.
They all have, yeah, they're...
Awesomeness TV has even dipped their toes into reality show style content beyond the dating genre with shows like Malibu Surf and their Kardashian bootleg called Going Garcia, which I can only describe both of these shows as a weird cross between TLC and MTV. Malibu Surf follows a group of teens where we're supposed to believe everything that happens is actually real and not scripted, even though the cast quite honestly could be the clunkiest actors I've ever witnessed.
I am. I moved out here to do the music scene and see what that's like.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, started a band recently.
Oh, really?
The show somehow still got 5 seasons, and within the first season, we follow Joey and Rio, who recently got together, as Joey starts bringing Rio around his friends, and drama starts when Allie, who is a member of the friend group who had history with Joey, wants him back. I think if the episodes for this show were given a standard running time of 20 minutes or even 15 at the least, it would be slightly more enjoyable to watch, but because they're working with 6 minutes, I'm not joking, 6 goddamn minutes, everything moves insanely fast, making it even more painfully obvious that this show is completely scripted. What's honestly surprising to me though is that even with them only being able to jam-pack a 6-minute episode with enough events to keep viewers intrigued, they still always have time for at least 2 minutes of clips involving cast members looking off into the sunset. Very deep, guys. Very deep. I honestly could barely get through the first season, so I can't speak for the other 4. Yes, 4 seasons there are for this show, but I can say that the first season is a dumpster fire on wheels. If any of you guys have watched the whole series, I would love to hear what you guys thought about it and if it got any better or worse. One section of Awesomeness TV that I noticed that I find pretty odd is their recent dive into the drama side of YouTube. I'm sure most of you guys know about or have seen drama channels on YouTube, and regardless of your opinion on how ethical they are, I think we can all agree that the drama community has witnessed a ton of success in the past few years, because they're talking about topical controversies involving popular creators. It's a combination that's obviously going to do well. What's weird to me though is a company that's goal is to cast creators, then turning around and making drama videos about other creators for views. Like, that just kind of sounds weird to me. I don't know, that might just be me, but it's one of the new ventures for the channel that makes it so confusing to look at their channel page, because it's littered in dozens of different genres of videos, and it not only seems sloppy, but at least reads to me like they're throwing as much shit as possible at the wall and hoping something sticks. And I think that explains why a lot of their projects seem so rushed. It feels like they're more concerned with pumping out as much content as they can instead of taking the time to make a smaller amount of projects that are better quality. So when it comes to what makes Awesomeness TV so bad, I think that it boils down to 4 different things, in my opinion at least, and that's repetitive storylines and concepts, time constraints, the budget, the acting, and then the script, which the acting and the script are combined together, and you'll understand why in a second. When it comes to the repetitive storylines and concepts, I didn't actually realize this was an issue with Awesomeness TV until I first did my bootleg Bachelor series, because I noticed that so many comments were people saying that the exact same show existed on Awesomeness TV, but instead of Chloe Couture, it was Brent Rivera. And listen, I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to do that. If they're repeating a concept, it's probably because the first one did well. And if viewers do want to watch it, there's no issue, but when you keep repeating the same concepts, it starts to get tired, especially when you're not doing anything to make the new versions of the same concept higher quality than the original. Naturally, you would think that if you don't have to risk worrying if viewers will like a show or not because you have a concept that's been successful in the past and a creator that's really popular is starring in it, you would assume they'd risk bumping up the budget, but Awesomeness TV just doesn't. Time constraint wise, I think there's a massive issue because you have all of these creators that viewers do want to watch in a movie or TV show setting, and you have like an okay idea, but then the way that you pursue it, with the episodes and the movies being so short, it feels like it's just starting as the movie or TV show was just ending. It just makes it feel like the movie or TV show wasn't even worth producing because it doesn't even feel like anything really happened. Another issue with the timing is that it forces them to dumb down the storyline to fit everything, and it in the end just kind of feels like there's no point in making the movie or TV show because everything's just moving too quickly. The time constraints, in my opinion, are one of the most paralyzing aspects of Awesomeness TV when it comes to the company sabotaging their own content. A majority of Awesomeness TV's productions live on YouTube, where anyone can post anything, and people with low budget setups have been able to grow a massive audience and entertain millions, but they've done it through creating videos that were worth watching for the viewer. When you create a show where the episodes are as long as an ad break on traditional television, how is it worth watching for someone? Take the first episode of Malibu Surf, for example. Within the episode, all that happens is the group of surfers have a house party, Joey leaves Rio to go hang out with Allie, Rio goes outside and stares at the sunset, and another guy from the group comes outside and says they've always had history, and then dramatic music plays. That's it. That's all viewers got for an entire week until the next episode, where they got a similar small nugget of the plot to enjoy, and so on and so forth, even though hundreds of comments on each episode ask Awesomeness TV to make the videos longer. On a platform where there are millions of videos to choose from and invest yourself in, why would Awesomeness TV be a top choice when on a weekly basis there's barely enough shown in an episode to invest in? That actually brings us to our next point, which is budget, and I do think that the time constraint issue exists because there might be a budget issue, which that might be that they don't have enough budget to pay enough writers, or maybe they don't have enough money to produce anything that takes longer than 4 days to produce. Obviously, I don't know how much they're paying the creators or the actors in the actual films that they're doing because they're only for YouTube and stuff like that, but I would hope that they're being compensated properly. But at the same time, you would think that they would want to be able to put out movies where they're able to pay everybody right, and they're also able to pay enough for the movie to actually be good. And I do think an easy solution for the budget issue, if there even is one, would be just narrowing in on a few select shows or movies instead of constantly churning out content. And I know that I keep saying that not putting out so much low quality stuff constantly would help them, but I really do think that not pumping out content as quickly as they are now could really help them. Like, really help them. Final issue that I've seen a lot in the Awesomeness TV shows and movies that I've watched so far is the acting, and sometimes it's the actors themselves, but a lot of the time it's actually the script that is just so painfully awkward that there's no way the actor can say it without it sounding bad. There are so many instances where you can see the actors in these shows and movies trying to regurgitate the script verbatim, and it just doesn't sound natural. It's why Awesomeness TV's attempts at passing off shows like Malibu Surf as reality are so easy for viewers to tell that they aren't actually reality shows, because the actors are talking in the way that the script directs them to, not how actual people would talk and react in real life. While the actors definitely aren't Oscar winners here, I think that better scripts would do them a lot more justice, and even just set the concept of the scene and let them ad-lib it. That's probably the closest you get to a reality scene anyways, if that's the point. I will say, though, that one movie that was produced by Awesomeness TV that exceeded my expectations was To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It was a great adaptation for the audience the book was geared to, teens and young adults, and I think the success of the production likely has to do with it being in partnership with Netflix and being based on a book where the plot is already laid out for them to execute, and they also hired actors instead of creators who have zero acting experience. In no way am I saying that Awesomeness TV needs to produce this kind of caliber of content on YouTube constantly, but the difference between To All the Boys I've Loved Before and anything else they've put on YouTube is staggering. I guess in all, I just feel like the company suffers from wanting to put out videos constantly and hitting every genre that is known for gaining views, when in reality they'd be a lot better off if they focused on fewer productions and making them better quality.